Tremors of rebellion are spreading across the Middle East as more than 70 people have been injured during violent and bloody clashes in Bahrain. Defying government bans, thousands of people have marched through the streets as they mourn the deaths of 4 protesters killed this week. Western leaders, including the US President, have voiced their concerns over the escalating violence, and senior officials from around the world will gather in Brussels next week to discuss the growing unrest in the region. Here's ABC Middle East correspondent Ben Knight.
After burying the dead, defiant anti-government protesters tried once again to march towards Pearl Square. Once again, they were met by security forces on armoured personnel carriers who opened fire. There was chaos as the protesters tried to carry out the wounded. As they sought treatment nearby, the smell of tear gas arrived with them. Medical staff struggled to deal with the injured.
Definitely a live ammunition, because the femur, the bone is completely shattered in pieces, many pieces.
Outside the hospital, protesters chanted, "The people want to topple a regime," and "Down with King Hamid." The country's crown prince called for calm and offered his condolences to the people.
Self-control and ethics are needed from all parties at this time. This includes the armed forces, police and citizens.
Leaders around the world are calling for restraint.
This is a second situation where security forces have responded aggressively to protesters, and there's been an unacceptable loss of life.
Bahrain might be a tiny island kingdom, but it has huge strategic importance to the West, not just because of its oil reserves, but also as the base for the US Navy's 5th Fleet. And the bushfire of protest is raging across the region. In the past few days, there have been demonstrations in Libya, Jordan, Iraq, Iran and Yemen. In Morocco, Algeria and Syria, governments have already moved to head off the unrest by announcing political changes and economic improvements. A week after the Mubarak regime was toppled, Egyptians were back on the street to celebrate their victory. Hundreds of thousands gathered in Tahrir Square. They also wanted to send the army a message that its promise to move their country towards democracy must be kept. But that democracy makes some in the West nervous. They might like the idea, but they're also uneasy about who might end up getting voted in. Ben Knight, ABC News.